Hello, everyone. Welcome to the QSandbox, the platform for sandbox computing. My name is Sri Krishnamurthy, and I'm the inventor of QSandbox. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about what sandbox computing is all about and why you need sandbox computing in order to build out your machine learning and data science workflows. As you all know, the complexity of machine learning and artificial intelligence have grown significantly in the last few years. You have tons and tons of data available, and it's a chore to try and clean all these data sets. In fact, 80% of your machine learning projects fail because you don't have quality data sets. In addition to that, you have requirements with respect to privacy, anonymization, making sure that whatever data you're able to share with your partners, with your vendors, are all taken care of from a governance perspective. And you have to make sure that the quality of the data is addressed before you can even start thinking about building out your first machine learning algorithm. In addition to that, you have a ton of different algorithms available out there, and most of the times you will be wondering which algorithms to use. And also, there are so many hardware choices available, both on the cloud and with specialized chips from GPUs to potentially using multi-core processors, which means that the number of design choices engineers have within the enterprise are so humongous, and it's impossible to try out all combinations. And that's where you need a smart way of building machine learning and AI applications. In fact, we envisioned that when you think about a machine learning workflow, there are so many components involved that you have to have the right tools for the right job at each stage of your machine learning process in order to make sure that you're building robust machine learning applications within the enterprise. And that's particularly true for manufacturing companies, especially when you have so much data available and the quality of the data is not that great. In fact, you have to make sure that you have the requisite process in place early on to make sure that you are setting up your infrastructure for success. And that's why we built out the QSandbox Research Suite. QSandbox is a suite of research tools which enables you to accelerate the pace of development of your machine learning projects. We have different products meant for different stages of your life cycle, and we want to make sure that you have the right tools for the right purpose when you're thinking about building out your machine learning algorithms. So let me kind of walk you through some of the features we have in our platform, and that way you will be able to appreciate why certain components are need to be done from scratch. So first of all, we have to talk about the Research Hub, which is basically a platform to enable sharing of your results of experimentation. Many a times, the data scientists and the machine learning engineers who are typically building out these applications do not have the right context in terms of business intelligence and the requisite business knowledge to try out different combinations. The Research Hub enables you to publish your research so that you're able to share those with all the people from shop floor managers to designers of various applications to people who actually hone and make sure that the processes are all in place. Then we have the Model Management Studio. And this is basically a pipelining tool which enables you structure the workflows you want to design for various applications. So imagine this to be a flow charting tool wherein you're going to say, first I'm going to get the data, then I'm going to clean it up, then maybe add a bunch of different features, then do a certain specific experiment, and then see what the results are going to look like. Now, this whole thing could be done in the context of a sequential process. And this Model Management Studio just enables you to do those kinds of applications. Now, the QSandbox is basically a contained environment, which is currently running all on AWS. No specific installation is required on your own machine. Everything is running on the cloud, and all you need is a working browser. And what happens is, because we can leverage the cloud, we can elastically spin out different experiments with different kinds of experimentation settings, enabling you to try out experiments on the fly, and also making sure that the right experiments are moved in stage to make sure that you can focus on the right parameters for successful experiments. We also have integrated open source and enterprise products. For example, we have integrated some of the enterprise's products like MATLAB, which enables you to run MATLAB-based programs. But also, we are supporting many open source projects like TensorFlow, PyTorch, Python, or etc. Then we can potentially also integrate various data sets, enabling you to set up your sandbox, which is running, think of it like a DMZ, wherein you are not kind of installing everything within your firewalls. You're trying out these experiments outside and only bringing in the experiments which actually make sense from a business perspective. In addition to that, we have been able to create different integrations with various products, enabling you to try out different products which you may not have tried before. For example, let's assume that you are interested in trying out a software product and you're not ready to bring it within your enterprise. The QSandbox enables you to set up an enterprise trial and you stage your data and give it to your potential vendor, and they can try out different tests and different specifications you have and ensure that the right products are brought in within your enterprise. So it basically provides you a testing environment for various kinds of applications so that you don't have to worry about setting up all that infrastructure up front within your enterprise. Now, we have focused heavily on the various things which typically are needed in the enterprise. And with our experience in energy, finance, manufacturing, healthcare, we have articulated all these aspects through processes which enables you to focus on the business logic rather than setting up the technology infrastructure. And also with policies and procedures in place, you're making sure that the governance aspects of your data and your modeling process are taken care of upfront rather than as an afterthought. Now, in order to track various experiments, we also have a product called as QTrack, which enables you to make sure that the provenance of all these experiments are tracked from the beginning to the end. And in addition to that, we have reporting tools, which enables you to chug out reports, which enables you to share the results of the various experiments as you build out your processes. Finally, this is the most important piece I would like to highlight. We have a data synthesis and a synthetic data generator tool, which enables you to anonymize various data sets to make sure that you synthesize artificial data, which you can share with the outer world, preserving the characteristics of the original data sets. This enables you to make sure that you are sharing the data without having to share your original data, but you are making sure that others can basically get a feel for the kind of data set you're envisioning for the various kinds of experiments you're going to be doing. In addition to that, for various machine learning and data science experiments, you may have to augment your data sets with artificial data to make sure that the stress scenarios, some of the scenarios which you have never envisioned before, are potentially provided to models. And that is enabled through this platform called as QSynthesize. In addition to that, we have benchmarking tools to let you investigate the distributions of different kinds of data sets, enabling you to compare and contrast different aspects of the data you're going to be working with. Let me do a demo so that you can get a better sense of what I'm talking about. But I just want to kind of step back and tell you why this is important in a manufacturing setting. First of all, manufacturing is a little bit behind compared to some of the technologies which are used in the financial services industry or healthcare or even in e-commerce. Many of the artificial intelligence and data science achievements which you hear about are typically showcased in the context of either healthcare or computer vision or various areas. Manufacturing is on a cusp of a revolution, which is going to be fueled by data science and machine learning techniques. And as these new tools come into the manufacturing enterprise, it's required that enterprises make sure that they have the requisite tools and skills to ensure that these tools are vetted out before you adopt them within the enterprise. And the QSandbox provides the framework through which you can focus on the right kinds of tools and the right kinds of data sets so that you can share things which you have to share with the outer world, for example, sample data sets. But in addition to that, you're making sure that you have a robust proof of concept and a testing environment which enables you to vet out products before you bring them within your enterprise. And also it enables you to create these respective verticals wherein you can focus on different experiments and prioritize them based on what your business and technical needs are. So let me kind of show you a quick screenshot on how the tooling looks. So this is basically the Q Modeling Studio. So you can basically set up different workflows for various kinds of applications. So this is, for For example, an interpretability workflow, and this is one to illustrate a natural language processing workflow, which is configurable and it enables you to try out various things. Now, in order to run this particular pipeline, you need the QSandbox. And what we have done is we have integrated it with a cloud-based platform, and all you need is a working browser. And in this particular page, you're seeing the different synthetic data generation tools which are available. And I'm going to show you one of these applications. And in this application, you can see that we have a web-friendly tool which enables you to try out different kinds of settings. You can pass in the data, and this is running a deep learning algorithm, and you can set up the various parameters. And once you start training, you can see the live training and the associated metrics in here, enabling the data scientists to focus on the various results. And then finally, you can do simulations based on the different criteria you would want. And that enables you to illustrate the various scenarios which can potentially be seen, and then also look at some of the histograms and other statistical metrics, which will enable you to further your analysis within the enterprise. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning all these things to you is when you think about an enterprise workflow, especially in the context of a manufacturing enterprise, intelligence is something which we are always thinking about bringing into the enterprise, and various processes are going to be thought about, especially with IoT, with various innovations in process monitoring, in predictive analytics, etc. But the key driver for all these processes is data. And what we have done is created tooling to enable you to focus on the quality of the data and ensure that you can bring them in a sandbox so that you can try out various things to make sure that you are failing fast if things don't work, but also accelerating the product and focus on the right kinds of tools which will enable you to successfully deploy AI and machine learning products within your enterprise. I invite you to learn more at www.QSandbox.com. Thank you very much.